3, 2, 1.
Got a blast!
What if you had a brain the size of Jupiter and could invent anything you wanted? Wait, what? Is this even possible? Well, for Jimmy Neutron, it certainly is. Hello, and welcome back to CartoonPanda, where we travel back in time and peek into our favorite cartoons. Today, we are here with Jimmy Neutron, boy genius. It is a 2001 animated science fiction comedy film that revolves around Jimmy Neutron, an intelligent 11-year-old boy who lives in the quirky town of Retroville. Alongside him are his loving parents, Judy and Hugh, and his innovative creation, a robot dog named Goddard, that's as loyal as they come. Jimmy's adventures are rarely solo missions. His circle includes the lovable and somewhat chunky Carl Weezer and the always buzzing Sheen Estevez. But what's a hero without a rival? Enter Cindy Vortex, Jimmy's classmate who matches him in wits and often finds herself at odds with him. But deep down, they have a mutual respect for each other. Together, they explore the challenges of childhood, the thrill of adventure, and the boundless possibilities of science. Now, let's dive in and see the entire story of Jimmy Neutron in just 10 minutes. Season 1, Episode 1, When Pants Attack. The first episode kicks off with Jimmy navigating the streets of Retroville in his robo-walker when he encounters Carl in a position that quickly leads to an invention mishap, launching Carl into the air without his pants. This unusual event triggers a chain reaction for Jimmy, reminding him of his own neglected chores at home. Upon his return, he faces his mother's frustration due to his consistently untidy room, highlighted by a specific problem with his pants. Despite his attempts to argue, Jimmy learns a valuable lesson on responsibility when his mother enforces a strict punishment, forbidding him from a much-anticipated movie outing with friends, underlining the theme that responsibilities, much like pants, won't take care of themselves. Jimmy sees his chaotic room as a chance for innovation, even after Carl's comical mix-up between nanochips and nacho chips. Creating a nanochip to automate his pants organization, Jimmy seeks to demonstrate his scientific priorities over mundane cleaning. As Carl involves himself in the joy of pants collection, dreaming of llamas, and Jimmy's dad shares a relatable anecdotes, Jimmy stays focused on his work. His invention successfully convinces his parents to lift his grounding, leading to a celebratory moment with pie. Yet, a strange glow from his closet hints at upcoming adventures. Meanwhile, Cindy monitors Jimmy's absence, ready to move ahead on a project without him, showcasing her fixation on their rivalry. Cindy starts her report without Jimmy, but the mood lightens as Sheen proudly displays his Ultra-Lord figure, inciting playful jest among the friends. The banter is abruptly interrupted when Jimmy enters with a new invention. The situation becomes chaotic, as Jimmy's innovative attempt to streamline laundry with nanochips goes wrong, resulting in an embarrassment scenario where Jimmy, Cindy, Carl, and Sheen are all left without pants. Despite this, Jimmy quickly took control of the situation, calming down the misbehaving pants and expertly fixing the problem. Season 1, Episode 2A, Normal Boy. In the following episode, Jimmy Neutron's attempt to simplify making orange juice with a new invention ends disastrously, destroying the kitchen and launching objects into space, one of which threatens Earth with a meteorite impact. Despite his mother's frustration and a temporary ban on his inventions, Jimmy faces the everyday challenges of being a young genius among his peers. His inventions continue to draw attention and create problems, particularly during a school science presentation that overshadows his classmates, leaving him isolated. Jimmy tries to be like everyone else and not so smart, so he uses his super cool gadget, the Brain Drain 8000, to make himself less of a genius. But something goes wrong. Instead of just being a bit less brainy, he becomes really silly, leaving his buddies Carl and Sheen scratching their heads. The next day in class, everyone is surprised when Jimmy gets a simple math question wrong, guessing 11d6, instead of the right answer for the square root of 144. Cindy gets it right, feeling pretty smug about her being smarter than Jimmy for once. But then things get wild when she sees a meteorite heading towards Earth and panics. Everyone rushes outside, and a limo mysteriously appears, asking for Jimmy to save the day. Jimmy, clueless because of his brain drain experiment, can't figure out what to do. His friends are worried since he's not his genius self. They rush him back to his lab to reverse the brain drain, hoping to get Jimmy back to his smart self. Luckily, it works, and Jimmy quickly jumps into action with a plan to use his rocket to send the meteor back into space, saving everyone. When they're all safe again, Cindy tries to share in the glory, but Jimmy plays it cool, acting like he doesn't even know her. Celebrate with their unique loopy dance, ending the adventure on a high note. Season 2, Episode 4, Nightmare in Retroville. Jimmy Neutron's Halloween starts uniquely with Goddard creating a jack-o'-lantern. The gang discusses their costumes. Carl plans to be Llama Boy again, despite it not being scary. Sheen is undecided after retiring his Ultra Lord costume, while Jimmy opts out of trick-or-treating, claiming he's too mature. However, he strikes a deal to turn Carl and Sheen into real monsters for a share of their candy, using his Neutronic monster maker. The fun turns real when Carl becomes an actual vampire, and Sheen a werewolf, leading to chaos. Later on, Jimmy encounters Carl and Cindy, who've become vampires, aiming to turn Jimmy as well. A swift distraction and a chase lead Jimmy to safety, courtesy of Garlic and Silver's protective power. Meanwhile, Sheen enjoys his werewolf status until a confrontation with Jimmy, and a monster mash of friends and family ensues. In an effort to save the day, Jimmy transforms into Octopus Man, managing to bring everyone back to normal, despite the loss of their Halloween candy. The adventure wraps up with a humorous twist, ensuring a memorable Halloween for all. Season 3, Episode 6, Jimmy Goes to College. In this episode, Jimmy Neutron tries to share something cool about unstable molecules with his class, but everyone finds it too complicated. Instead, they end up making macaroni sculptures, leaving Jimmy disappointed. After an accident in class caused by Cindy, which results in chaos, Jimmy finds out from visiting a professor, Dean Cain, that he's been accepted into an advanced physics college. Excited for respect and a chance to immerse himself in science, Jimmy quickly faces reality. At college, he struggles to fit in, having issues with his jetpack and finding a lab partner, except for Seymour, who's out to make Jimmy's life difficult. After several mishaps, including creating an icy explosion and streaking through the lab on Seymour's advice, leading to an invention mishap, Jimmy is expelled. Meanwhile, back at home, his family tries to cope without him, with humorous and sad moments, including his dad accidentally freeing fleas in the house. Jimmy feels humiliated and misses his old life, while Seymour steals his invention plan, which adds to his troubles. Before Jimmy packs up, he spots something off with his notebook. It turns out that Seymour messed with it, setting Jimmy up for the college mess. Jimmy calls on Carl and Sheen to help out. They tweak the invention Seymour took to shoot out the toilet paper, but oops, their plan goes sideways, making a huge sticky mess everywhere. Quick on his feet, Jimmy whips up some glue shields that keep everyone safe from the goop. When Dean Cain finds out Seymour stole Jimmy's work, he boots Seymour out and tells Jimmy he can come back to college if he wants. But Jimmy decides to stick with his old school, figuring out it's more important to be himself and to be at some fancy college. Season 3, Episode 14, The Troubles with Clones. In this exciting episode, competition drives Cindy to challenge Jimmy's intelligence by comparing him unfavorably to Da Vinci. To refute her claims, Jimmy turns to his remaining clone, Evil Jimmy, who has been causing chaos from space. Following a showdown, Jimmy captures and attempts to rehabilitate the clone to get assistance in his daily tasks. However, the plan hits a snag when Evil Jimmy messes with the reforming machine and fakes being reformed. Evil Jimmy unleashes chaos with a hypno beam, turning Carl and Sheen into believing they're female singers, Cindy and Libby into Marines, and Nick into thinking he's a bikini supermodel. Jimmy eventually breaks the hypnosis, but discovers his clone has stolen his latest invention, a cloning machine that can replicate perfectly, while destroying the original. Finally, Jimmy Neutron counters Evil Jimmy's plan to obliterate the real Earth by infiltrating a crafted duplicate Earth. Despite being captured by hostile versions of his own family and pet, Jimmy outsmarts Evil Jimmy, averting global destruction but trapping the counterfeit Earth in a void. Narrowly escaping, Jimmy returns home, pondering the day's harrowing experiences and recognizing the true value of cherishing moments with loved ones over personal achievements. However, as the episode ends, a small hint suggests Evil Jimmy may still be alive and out there somewhere, plotting his next move. So, this was a 10-minute guide to the story of Jimmy Neutron, Boy Genius. Even though the show has ended, it still holds a special place in the hearts of fans and continues to inspire new generations with its unique blend of comedy, sci-fi, and heartwarming moments. Whether you grew up watching Jimmy's wild inventions and adventures, or just discovering the show now, there's no denying that it remains a beloved classic in the world of animation. Let us know in the comments which cartoon series you want us to cover next. Till then, goodbye!